got movement. 11 o'clock. Fast movers. Keep them grounded. Deny them the skies.
May 1st, 1982. Skies over the Falklands. Cold wind sweeps over the South Atlantic. Clouds hang low above jagged peaks. A low growl builds overhead. Jet engines. British Harrier GR-3s slash through the fog, hunting Argentine aircraft. When diplomacy failed, jets answered. Over the Falklands, air supremacy wasn't just strategy. It was survival. Every dogfight a duel. Every pilot a target. Flight Lieutenant Dave Morgan checks his HUD radar pings.
We've got movement. 11 o'clock. Fast movers.
Argentine Mirages slice through the sky. Supersonic, armed, deadly. One peels off and locks on a Harrier.
Fox 1.
A missile streaks across the sky, white-hot and hungry. The Harrier jerks hard left, pilot gritting his teeth. Flares spit out, glowing embers against blue as twisting smoke trails claw after him, predator and prey locked in a deadly chase. These were not clean battles. No radar locks, no stealth advantage, no computers whispering solutions, just raw skill against chaos. Split-second instinct ruled and life or death. The Harrier loops, then fires a sidewinder. Impact.
Splash 1.
The Mirage disintegrates mid-air. The Falklands War would see over 100 aircraft clash. In air too thin for mercy, over islands too cold for peace. The British RAF unleashes Operation Black Buck, a daring Vulcan bomber strike on Stanley Airfield. Thousands of miles over open ocean, fuel transferred mid-air, every gallon counted. Precision balanced on risk as one mission carries the weight of a nation's resolve. It wasn't about damage, it was about sending a message. The British were coming, relentless and unbroken. And when they arrived, the skies above the Falklands would burn with fire and fury. Vulcan bombers release payloads. Craters tear up Stanley's runway. Argentina scrambles its Mirage 3 interceptors from the mainland.
Keep them grounded. Deny them the skies.
British Harriers, launched from HMS Hermes and Invincible, patrol the skies. Their vertical takeoff and agility outmatch speed, but only just. Calm shatters. British Harriers are spotted on patrol. From high above, an Argentine Mirage squad dives like hawks, eager to strike first and test the skies with fire.
We'll push them back into the sea.
But the Harrier climbs vertically, rolls and loops behind the attacker, locking a sidewinder and firing. Explosion. The Mirage shatters. The Argentines had speed, but Harrier pilots had instinct, and a weapon the Mirages couldn't match. Agility in tight, brutal skies. The air war had begun. Not over Europe, not over jungles, but over desolate islands few had heard of until now. Mid-May, the British land at San Carlos. Argentine aircraft begin bombing runs to stop the invasion. The Daggers squadron, modified Israeli-built jets, fly dangerously low. Each Argentine pilot flew knowing he might not return. Radar coverage was sparse. British missiles were not. Flight Lieutenant Stephen Thomas patrols above the landing zones. Radar lights up.
Incoming Daggers, bearing 270. We've got to intercept.
Below, the fleet erupts. Ships unleash walls of tracer fire clawing skyward. Daggers scream down through the chaos, weaving between bursts of flak. Bombs drop, thundering into the bay as shockwaves ripple across the water. Thomas locks on a trailing dagger. The sidewinder launches, smoke and flame engulf the jet.
One down.
But another dagger punches through the defensive wall, its bomb slamming into HMS Arden. The blast tears metal apart, flames roar skyward, and chaos engulfs the deck as her crew screams in desperation.
We're hit! Get the wounded off the deck!
Victory came at a price. Even when Harriers struck, ships burned. Lives were traded for ground. One Harrier returns to base with holes in its fuselage, the pilot's hands shaking.
It was chaos, just sky and fire.
At Goose Green, Argentine Pucará ground attack aircraft threatened British troops. Slower, older, but dangerous in low runs. The Pucarás were relics of another war. Flight Lieutenant Mark Hare takes off in a Sea Harrier. Intelligence spots Pucarás strafing troop positions.
Ground units under attack! Get in the air, now!
Mark skims low over rugged terrain, his Harrier thundering just above the ridgelines. Below, Pucarás rake the hills with tracer fire, streaks of red carving the earth. British troops crouch, returning desperate rifle fire, fragile, outmatched, helpless against the storm. He spots them. 2 Pucarás banking. He dives.
Come on, just a second more.
He locks onto the Pucará, thumb firm on the trigger. A missile streaks, one erupts mid-air in fire. The second veers wildly, smoke trailing before shattering against the ridge. The radio crackles.
Tell that pilot we owe him a case of beer.
The Pucarás paid in blood, each sortie cut down by missiles and gunfire. The airstrip itself burned, silencing their wings for good. Later, Mark paces the flight deck in silence, the sea wind biting at his face. Nearby, another pilot sits alone in the dim glow, clutching a worn photo of his children, staring, unblinking into tomorrow's fight.
We're all one missile away from ghosts.
Argentine air defenses around Goose Green claim their most high-profile kill. Lieutenant Nick Taylor flying a Sea Harrier. War favors no side, only the moment. And that day, the moment belonged to a radar-guided shell. Taylor streaks low toward the airstrip, targeting gun emplacements. Suddenly, tracer fire rises, then a missile lock.
Brake left. Braking now.
Explosion, sudden and violent. The missile slams home and a Harrier GR-3 disappears aboard HMS Hermes. Silence grips the briefing room. Maps lie open, coffee cups untouched. One jet gone, one comrade lost.
We lost Nick. He never saw it coming.
Pilots bow their heads, then rise.
They'll pay. Every one of them flying today.
Nick Taylor's loss wasn't the only one, but it struck deep. A reminder that these were men, not machines. That afternoon, Harriers returned to Goose Green with vengeance. Multiple Argentine positions are destroyed. The war continues, but the cost grows. With British forces pushing inland, Argentina launches one last desperate air campaign. Mirage and Dagger pilots sent into impossible odds. They knew they were outmatched, but they flew anyway. Not for victory, but for honor. 3 Daggers scream across the coast. Harriers respond instantly.
You take left. I've got the high flanker.
The battle unfolds in seconds. Missiles streak. 2 Daggers explode mid-air. The third dives into the ocean, avoiding lock. On the ground, Royal Marines cheer. Faces remain hard. They've seen enough to know the war is almost done. Back aboard HMS Invincible, Harrier crews remove the names of fallen friends from chalkboards.
He said he'd be back for tea.
The air battles ended as they began. Fast, violent, final. The skies over the Falklands fell silent, but echoes remained. Argentina surrenders. The war is over. The island's quiet again, but marked by craters, wreckage, and names carved into the earth. In 74 days, the skies over the Falklands saw more than dogfights. They They saw sacrifice, vengeance, fear, and resolve. Dave Morgan stands beside a Sea Harrier, helmet under arm. He looks out over the sea.
They were good pilots, brave, all of them. We did what we had to, nothing more.
Wrecked Argentine aircraft rust near sheep fields. In Buenos Aires, grieving families light candles. In Portsmouth, medals are awarded, some posthumously. Technology mattered, but the heart behind the throttle decided fate. Over the South Atlantic, men fought not for conquest, but for pride, duty, and those behind them.